Boom, what's up fam? Got some big news to share that unfortunately is not so good, so I'm gonna jump right into it. You're gonna watch this video and you're gonna cry. At least we can laugh at your eyes as you cry like in the corner like a little girl in the fetal position.
What do... Not Ryan Stone. I think he's the most important guy in the world. Ryan Stone. Give a fuck about Ryan Stone. Me and him have gone back and forth. Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Stone does not pass the 6-foot test. He's not even a man. So I don't give a fuck with Ryan Stone.
We know that these videos really prey on vulnerable young men who have not had many experiences in dating.
Name a bigger red flag than a white guy with a podcast. I'll wait.
I am not impressed. I will have you know, I'm like 80% white. The podcast is goddamn good, and I don't want you anyway. You got random Iroquois art and not art on your walls. You're not my type, sir. Or madam. I don't know, you're allowed to say any more?
Hey brother, who do you think is the funniest member of Rule Zero Squad now? What's your favorite comment joke of theirs? I think Ryan brings good laughs. He does. Ryan is like British humor. It's like Monty Python. People are like, if you get it, you laugh your ass off. If you don't get it, you're like...
Fuck Ryan Stone.
People just don't get his humor. Who's the funniest one on there? You mean besides John Fitch? I think John Fitch is the funniest member of Rule Zero, but he's unintentionally funny. Or the robot dogs. Seeing this robot dog in real life was pretty surreal and terrible. Yeah, Cappy's pretty funny. He can be pretty funny too. Who's the funniest member?
One of the guys who ran the Red Pill channel sent me a message. I actually appreciate that you took it from an idea-based perspective instead of ever resorting to personal attack. Like, if this movement is actually going to be dangerous, do we need to understand it so that we can take it down? I knew going into it that this might be a hot mess. I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
I don't usually post pictures of my kids online, but they're infants and you can barely see them, so, you know, it's fine. But a YouTuber named Ryan Stone tweeted, showing off the F trophies for clout. So the babies are trophies that I'm showing off. It's perhaps not a surprise that a picture of a proud father would be so upsetting to the sort of man who clearly never had one.
I've talked to Ryan Stone once. I'm pretty sure the whole conversation I pushed him like pretty hard.
What was hard, Ariel?
The therapist will essentially give them SSRIs, which I think you know, like the sexual effects that SSRIs have on the body, right?
Some. Like, there's tons of like MAOs and like tricyclics that you're talking about, like the type of SSRIs that used to be given to pedophiles. We don't give those to men. We don't give those to men. But he's not as informed as like I think he would like to be. Yeah. So I used to be a pretty strong feminist. I've actually become a feminist again. Feminists, though, can be some of the worst people you'll ever meet. They can be like some of the most nasty. They'll take advantage of contradictory world values, right? Worldview, which is that like I'm talking about like psychology and mental health for men, and yet I'm in a field that like is overly feminized and shoving drugs down men's throat. And I'm like, and I'm still recommending it because I don't want to lose like the baby out with the bathwater. Just because not all therapists are well trained to work with men. Just because a lot of therapists might even be biased against particularly like incel type men. If they hear misogynistic language at all, they might like shut you down. So and it was just difficult because I didn't want to be like super like nasty and mean or anything.
Here's a story of a cocky lady who thought her gold standard was legit. Then finally when she got an actual challenge, it all went to shit.
There she is.
Ryan Stone, another
It is just...
Oh my god.
If you're a young man, you need to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, you need to subscribe to this goddamn channel.
What the fuck?
Megan Fox with a dick, or Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
You see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there.
You have to conclude that Trump betrayed us.
Socially retarded fact.
Seething.
Don't work with retard.
He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile, can be a gentleman, snarky as even in person, yet he blocks me and talks shit about. Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
Yes, there are Indian families that dig holes and put tents and poop.
They do it on the beach now, and they did it off my backyard.
Oh, hoo boy.
There was like 3 different families of maybe 25, 30 people that came for barbecues. They would set up right on the fence of my backyard. I seen them digging the hole, and I seen them put the tent. When they left, there was poop. That happened 3 separate times. I've had to yell at people for shitting on the borderline property line of my backyard. And yes, it was Indian families. So that's not false. You can check my town's page where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach, because there is. They're digging holes and they're pooping and putting tents up because they don't want to go to the washrooms. So I'm tired of people saying that the people pooping on the beach, like that's what they do back home. We are not back home. We are in Canada. As a local, I refuse to let my kids dig in the sand on Beach 1. And you guys are saying all the tents are gone? No, they're not. No, they're fucking not. The beach is full of tents. Full.
Do you want to know why? Why my food is burnt? Because I had a police officer come to my door and harass. Somebody called in and said, she's harassing East Indian people. No, I'm not.
You see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there.
If you're sitting there going, oh, my wife's a 3, I play Tekken for pennies, my name's Ryan Stone, your life sucks. So he actually nailed it. Don't start something you won't finish. Don't start something you won't finish. Everyone have a little bit of faith. My name's Ryan Stone, I play Tekken for pennies, chill a little bit, and just go, you know what, Tate's got it.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha.
Named Ryan Stone.
This says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline.
I am now concerned for my career.
And I still recommend clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just,
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
You can choose your misery with some, pretty girl that, whatever, that you just. And I honestly find it. If your man is for you to say smart, probably because you're not satisfied. I would encourage, right? So exactly. Do not discredit intelligence of others. Please do not use that word.
But marrying or committing to? No, absolutely not. My son will, marry an accountant. Not one of my sons would I allow to even date one of you girls. Because you don't shut up. It has been fun. It has been an honor. We're going hiking.
Yes.
You're 45 and you can't shut up? You're the most mature one, but I saw your nipples and now we gotta worry about that. You're a criminal justice major, right? You're gonna bail out all these girls' sons right this time. You actually have a job. Long ago, she was a stripper. She put herself through college, law school doing that, became a lawyer now.
If I'm gonna get in trouble on stable, I wanna fucking hear why.
By that time it's already tainted like this.
That is the most on-brand shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why would my son date you?
I don't want your.
9 minutes, 30 seconds. I haven't actually done that before. I wanted to do it. Oh my God. Did you look at that? I haven't even gotten into the book ads yet. There's still the book ads. There's still the Orion channel. Oh, sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Hey, welcome, guys. I remember Rolo, he used to do those on his sometimes when he started his live streams, and it'd be like 7 or 8 clips of the stuff he's going to talk about. So everybody's got like, it's like moving to the movie theater, and then you got 20 minutes of ads for whatever the hell. So yeah, welcome. It's Red Morning for the morning. Access Vegas, but which episode? I don't remember. You guys have to check it out. Anyway, oh yeah, where are they now? Look, it's been 6 years, 7 years. I can't even keep track anymore. It's been years. And the people have come and people have gone. And a lot of them have blocked me for obvious reasons. So I'm kind of curious which one, like who's doing what and who's still doing where. You've seen the thumbnail, right? And in no particular order, but as close as I can get to chronological, there was the original guys from the 21 convention, the convention that shall not be named in Florida. And that was arguably the first time Red Pill stuff kind of went online. Yeah, there was some earlier stuff with 33 Secrets and Coach Red Pill. Oh, there's another. Where have they gone? Even Stefan Molyneux and Milo Yiannopoulos for a bit, but those were kind of like the Roosh years. That was, I don't know if those count. I'm counting it past 2017. So yeah, first thing, Coach Red Pill, Lorenzo Gonzalez or whatever. I remember, I didn't know much about him. I just thought, why is he just repeating all the same stuff that we already know? He's doing the same thing as 33 Secrets, except for he was in a workshop with like a thing. Anyway, I didn't know this, but he was one of those guys that kept moving from thing to thing, whatever was the most popular thing. He was originally part of some economics thing. And he started up a website, and he started up some monetized whatever, and there was a really good economist, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, and I'm not going to go look it up, you guys can look it up, who he asked, like, yeah, do you mind if I take your stuff, put it on here, put it on the paywall, and then just keep a little bit for admin, and then you can have the rest, like a revenue sharing thing. And he's like, yeah, sure, take my ideas, make the site, do what you do. Didn't pay him a cent. So eventually it got so bad, and Gonzalo just kind of ignored him and all that stuff, and he got to the point where he's telling everybody, just like, do not go to my site. I don't get paid for this. It's somebody stealing my IP, and I'm taking him to court, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, by the way, I know a lot about Red Pill stuff now. And then he went through that. And the very few times he interacted with guys from the various forums or the subreddit or any of that stuff, dunked on. I think he got treated worse than Paul Elam, which, if you don't know who that is, that's a men's rights guy from the 90s who nobody likes. Then he switched over to like, now I know everything about the Ukraine war. Died. How crazy is that? To get killed in an AstroTurf war that was just there to siphon money to like war profiteers. It's not even a real war. Like, there's really people dying and there's real tragedy, but it's mostly just people like stimulating the economy. Holy Jesus. Oh, yes. And thank you, Donnie Trejo. For the rest of you guys, too. Yeah, if you guys know some of the lore that I don't, or if you're into some of the iceberg that I'm not, feel free to illuminate me. Because like I said, a lot of these guys, they do not like my attitude. And they block me. I saw the super chats up above. I'll get to those in just a sec. So anyways, yeah, at some point, the Ukrainian authorities, the SS, or I guess UUs, decided, stop tweeting pro-Russia stuff in Ukraine or we're coming to get you. And then he started doing some more, and then they came and got him, and he looked all confused, and then I still never got a straight answer. I don't know if they tortured him when he was in there, or he just happened to have a heart attack from the stress of being arrested or something like that. Anyways, he's dead. And I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but it's kind of one of those weird situations where it's like, next to the guy that tripped over the bench and got stabbed in front of his girlfriend, then his girlfriend used that to say we got to let infinite migrants in or something like that. It was just like the most embarrassing ways to meet St. Peter and St. Michael and all them. It's a strange thing. So yeah, where are they now? Super chats, by the way. So first one, free gender. Or second one, sorry, free gender. Thank God. I love catching the beginning of the show. I'm glad you do, sir. I do my best to give you a nice little hook at the start of it, something to get you interested in it. Second off is, come on, scroll, don't be like this. There we go. Siege D. He's got the #1 crown. I don't know what that means, but it must be good. It must be good. Sup, Couch? Has old George crashed out again, or is the most recent one still him calling me a mosquito on X for reminding him of the lore of Rule 0? I can't keep track. Like I said, I blocked him. I want him out of sight, out of mind. But the thing about Twitter and social media in general is you cannot fully block somebody, because if they do something ostentatious enough, and a crash out is definitely ostentatious, it will find its way to you. And so, yeah, that was as far as I know, that was the one where he's ranting at Nuke and Jack and me, and then went into the Rule 0 chat, started telling everybody, like, I hate Rule 0 and it used to be better, stuff like that. So if there's more crash outs and their videography their videography is on point and we can do some Kino with it, not saying we won't, I'm saying we might. So the ads now, since I've still got a bunch of ads. James S. $20 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for the Cappy sad nostalgia from Access Vegas. It is still hilarious. Any chance there will be another sad nostalgia? Probably. Honestly, the way these things mostly work is I kind of just do my thing throughout the day and the weeks and the years and the months. And then one day I'll just wake up with like a hilarious idea in my head, come to the computer quickly, and then just do it up like super fast. So these are all inspired visions from the future. I do want to do more of them. The problem is, other than Cappy, not a lot of people are just like over it. So we'll see. That was Cappy's first ever panel show. I think it was his last when I went there to Access Vegas with Rolo and him, he's like, yeah, are the girls coming? Because I'm not going to be there, man. I'm like, dude, I came all the way down to Vegas. It's like kitty corner across the country. Come on, man. He's like, no, we're not doing that. You and I are going to go hiking. So we went hiking instead. Dude. Not the biggest hiking fan, but Clary's pretty good at it. Yeah. If Gonzalo's wife was Ukrainian, she left him and moved back. He was there to try and maintain a relationship with his kids. So he died of pneumonia in prison. So wait a minute. Oh my God. Okay. So Lord Devonshire has given me some tea here, which makes so much sense now. This is actually kind of a red pill thing. He married a Ukrainian chick. They moved to Ukraine, and looks like, yeah, she left him. So he was there to try and maintain a relationship with his kids. First off, right there, passport bros. Do you remember that? Poland and Ukraine? Central Europe. They were all over that shit. Because, the women were feminine and the women were loyal and all that shit. And it turns out, doesn't matter, man. Still leave you. Still leave you if you don't have your shit on tight. And even then, there's no guarantees. You never know. Oh, we're getting to Roman, sir. And Myron looks like he wasn't too happy at Cappy. I don't know what... I don't watch his stuff ever, but the impression I got from that is the guy who's like... And this is kind of where I feel bad for Myron. Like, he's in his box now. Like, this is his thing. You yell at chicks, you drink White Claws, and you have some thug shit happening around you. That's your thing now. And I don't think he wants to be in that thing, and I don't blame him. Like, yeah, it must have been fun at the start, but after that, pulling a gun on you, I'd be like, yeah, this isn't actually very fun at all. But what else is he going to do? Was he going to start a movie channel? Who's going to watch that? Myron Reviews? Give a White Claw to the Alien franchise and just kick it out? Okay, so Siege T here. Apparently, the crowns are for chat members who are the most active in the chat based on how many comments and super chat stands. Oh, interesting. They actually give you guys a ranking system. Well, wait a minute, Siege. You were #1 when you gave me the 3 smiley faces, and now you're #2. I think, okay, so you and James S. are like neck and neck between #2 and #1. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it was some ratchet shit. It doesn't really matter. I'd pick Rob and you and Jack over Myron. I mean, you don't have to pick any of us. That's kind of the thing. You don't have to pick anybody. So I still have a bunch of ads, but now we're doing ads because we got shit to sell.
It's been a long journey. You've watched the Red Pill go from a nice internet space where guys talked openly and honestly to a clown show of White Claws, Bugattis, human trafficking, and yelling at OnlyFans girls for clout. These are the stories of the good times. The church failed to help. Family failed to help. Feminism had 3 generations and failed miserably. Men do what men gotta do. We get together and do it ourselves. These are our stories.
Ryan Stone, another fucking fact.
Praxeology, Volume 3, on Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook.
Who is this guy?
That's Praxeology volume. Dude, I maybe should slow down with the books. That was Praxeology volume 3. That came out December. Since then, we've had Dogwalker. It's come out in Valentine's Day. Best contemporary fiction for men. Chicks have taken over the genre for too much, and it's time to put something good in there, something that's a good read. Dude, you guys are red-pilled. You like good stories. You know how to tell good stories. Have you ever tried reading one? It's like, yeah, I don't like reading anymore. I don't either. And it turns out there's nothing wrong with you. It's not something you age out of. It's not something that you're not good at. It's not your ADHD. It's nothing like that. It's just people's books are slop. Absolute slop. And I'm talking before AI, man. Before AI. I found out myself because it was like Nick August, my editor, got me into Hemingway, which I never read Hemingway before because I'm like, why would I? It gives me the Short Happy Life of Francis Macomber. And I was like, this is a really good book. I could totally read this. It was shorter, but there was like no fat on it. And that's when I realized, when I started trying to read other stuff, the difference between a book I can read and a book I can't read, and I'm pretty sure this goes for you too, is... So nobody's perfect. The ideal is to never be able to skim somebody's work. Like if you can skip a page or skip a paragraph or skip a sentence and you're not lost, then chances are that sentence, paragraph, or page does not need to be there. It's just filler. So the less of that you have, the better your book is. And for most contemporary fiction works, they are written for women, they are written by women, and they are full of it. So yeah, you lose interest because it's just a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. It's no different than your wife telling you a story. She's like, hey, did you hear about Cindy? And you're like, no, tell me about Cindy. And then the long meandering path to like nothing about Cindy happens and you just check out. And that's what they're doing. So I get it. So I'm like, yeah, guys can read contemporary fiction as long as you just trim the fat. And then of course, August 1st, Softbone's coming out. Oh, dude, Jake Long and Softbone. I'm giving it a final read myself. This is my favorite now because it's the read where I get to read like a reader and I forget a lot of the stuff that I put in there. It's fun, man. And for those of you who don't like I don't want to watch slice of life contemporary fiction. It's like cyberpunk. Like, oh, dude, it's sci-fi. I love this shit. Yeah. Anywho, back to the where have they been? Hey, Couchy, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much, sir. I told you that the story to tell you. This one. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, sir. The Short, Not So Happy Life of Jack Murphy. So MLD John, he was fun. I always enjoy, and I still consider him a friend, right? He kind of came in hot and heavy, and he's kind of was doing his thing in the background, and then he peaked. It's like, holy shit. Made his $1 million bucks, started doing his courses. The body language mastery was a masterclass in running a masterclass. He kind of showed the pathway to others, and I'm surprised he doesn't get more credit for this. But, so at the time, there was this Twitter brand, Sonia something. She's an Evo Psych PhD. There was Jeff Miller. He's another psychologist PhD. Cindy Minson, David Buss. And Rollo was kind of going off a bit about how these guys, and Dr. Sean Smith, and they were all going on. John's been dissing a lot of you guys lately. Okay. It's just, relax, man. Wrestling isn't real. Wrestling isn't real. Anywho, they were starting to do their own courses. They're like, well, we're university professors. Let's just take university and bring it to here. And they did. And it was like problems discussed and nothing was doing well. And they did okay, but they weren't great. It's not the kind of thing you could make a business from. Meanwhile, MLD John came from like teaching English in Japan to running this multi-million-dollar course. It's still real to me, damn it. And he kind of showed, like, yeah, if you want to do education online, this is the pathway to do it. And a lot of people have been doing it successfully. He just did it to a level people weren't able to. It's like really is the Michael Jordan of online courses. He didn't do it with volume like AJ Cortez. He has like 40 courses and they're all cheap, but whatever. And, but John's like, no, charge a premium. But the thing he did that was different was he put effort into it. he always had the workshop. So as you did the course, he'd have a start date and an end date. And then at the start date, you had your workshops, and then all of that stuff is available in the future. And then anybody who signs up after pays more and doesn't get the workshop. So the thing that got me that was crazy was that if you look at the numbers for people who buy online courses, doesn't matter the subject, there is a 12% completion rate. So approximately out of every 10 people who buy an online course, 1 out of 10 complete it. Or even take it, I think. I think the number is like once you start it, you basically complete it. But almost nobody starts it. They just buy it for the feeling of buying it. He got his up to, I think it was 47%. Insane. And that kind of is one of those things. So it shows you like, yeah, it's not just about giving information out, charging a price and being done with it. He's like, no, I want you guys to learn. I want to build a loyal customer base, like a followership. And he kind of, it was like very mutually beneficial. He kind of pushed people into getting what they paid for. And then in turn, they ended up being more loyal to his brand because his brand showed that it gave a shit. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Nobody's replicated it since. Nobody. Yeah, if I end up doing like a course on how to write books, like not the writing part, but everything around the writing part, I will probably follow that format because it just looked great. But yeah, and then everybody kind of knows his, I don't even know if I would call it a crash out. It kind of is, but it isn't. Where he went on, what the fuck is that guy's name? Is it Patrick Bet David or the other one? One of those guys that Rollo used to work with, and then the guy was just like stealing Rollo's clout. So Rollo's like, yeah, fuck this guy, and left. John went on there and said, if your husband's beating you, your job is just to endure it with a smile. And yeah, it kind of blew up. But and since then, he kind of never really hit that same peak again. So now he's kind of just doing his thing, staying low key as far as I can tell. And like, whatever. He's got, like I said, the body language mastery, building that audience was great because now no matter what happens to him, and this is another thing for longevity, whatever happens to him, he can say, yeah, beating your wife is cool. He can get canceled off the internet. He's still got that group of people that knows, yeah, if he does something and I buy it, he will give a shit and I will get my money's worth. And I'm like, I don't think he gets enough credit for it. I really don't. Mimildy do course that how Hey does. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Guys, your sentences are killing me sometimes. He's doing a Japanese dating game last I heard. Yeah, good for him. And John Fitch. John just had a new family. He's going to get a new kid, though. So he's kind of just offline a little bit now because he's got a brand new kid to worry about. And he just moved to Indiana or something like that. And so yeah, he did a huge amount of life changes. So he's a little low key, but there's nothing really changed. I mean, his journey kind of was like over before it even got to us. Like he had his UFC thing. He was like breaking records. He was the Frank Dukes Kumite of UFC. And then Dana White started pulling some shit. And then he started like forming a group of people to sue them to get better pay for the fighters, get his thing going. Bam. As far as I can tell, though, his lawsuits are coming through and they're winning. So all the screwing over that happened to him in UFC is actually getting compensation finally, which is awesome. Hey, Couch, I noticed this correlation. When a character on Rule Zero gets to 200,000 subs, then they leave. Examples, Rich, Myron, MLD, and Rollo. Good. Good. I think that's a great thing. Honestly, if it ends up being just the low-key, red-pilled incubator, I think that's wonderful. Literally, it's kind of like, you ever guys hear of Second City Television? It's a theater troupe that's in Chicago, New York, I think Toronto, Montreal as well. And most of the guys you end up seeing came from SCTV. There was a TV show in Canada called SCTV. John Candy, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, Martin Short. Like, you guys recognize all these names, I'm assuming. Stephen Colbert came from SCTV. I think Jon Stewart didn't. A lot of the original Saturday Night Live cast came from SCTV. So it's kind of like the SCTV. Yeah, the Bob and Doug McKenzie characters, all of them. I think that would be neat. Anyways, just realized that the whole relationship with my ex was a giant covert contract. Most of them are, man. The AHL to the NHL. What a very Canadian thing for you to say, sir. So let's move on then. So that's John. Rich, obviously, Rich is just doing his thing. Like I said, he was on there, and then, interpersonal stuff. You get too many you get too many A-type personalities together, things happen, and Rich is like, all right, I'm going to go do my own thing. And everybody's like, all right, have fun. We're still good friends. He has his own spin off of the Fresh and Fit thing. What is his called? I can't remember. I don't watch any of our like relationship red pill, red meat stuff, so I can't remember the names of anything. Ladies' Night, that's the one. So Ladies' Night. So he has his own version of, it's kind of like middle-aged Fresh and Fit. It seems to be popular, so I'm like, who am I to judge? Whatever, it's not my thing. But again, it's not. I'm not the customer base, so it doesn't really matter. And I like that the best, because it's not like there was no big drama, there was no canceling, there was no flash in the pan. Rich is just doing something, and then he does it until he stops liking it or wants to do something else, and then he moves on to something else. And I think that's great. I wish more people would do that. Just treat this like a job and not some kind of like mental therapy. It's like fucking ridiculous. The ones that get me though is oh, wait, one sec.
From the author and content creator that brought you the heartfelt, the F trophies for clout, the 6-foot-tall Tate, and the not funniest member of Rule Zero, Volume 2, Dread.
Nice. Snappy. From the original convention, so there was, what's his name? Christian McQueen. That was the one. Christian McQueen. And he was like one of your standard dating guys. I didn't really know much about him until then. He seemed nice enough. He actually seemed a lot like MLD John in the E-Course Hustler kind of way. I don't know. He just one day just like, I'm done with this shit, and he just left. I don't even know. Rumor was he was doing some real estate thing in New York. There was probably exposés that showed he wasn't all that he seemed to be, but I don't recall anything crazy, like no diddling kids, no lives in his parents' basement, none of that shit. So he just kind of came and then went, and none of his stuff has really lasted the test of time. Like, I've never had anything of his to reference in any of my books or any of my videos, and I've never seen it in the zeitgeist in any way. So in that way, he was kind of like a gray man, which was pretty interesting. Goldman Unleashed, again, pickup artist. He had the fedora and camera game. He would always talk about picking up chicks in his place to stay with him, and I'll take your picture, and that was his way of picking them up. And Saucecast, that was the one. Anyone under that brand gets disappeared. So it's the anti-Rule Zero. Well, that's kind of cool. It's like Rule Zero, only you're dead afterwards. They just milked you. It's like Ellen. I will destroy your career unless you're Bieber. Yeah, so Goldman, he found God. And it was like the prodigal son thing is so weird when I see it. Like, I understand the religious parables, so I get it's like a thing that people do, but I've never understood it. So his big thing was just like how to sleep with girls. And he's not like an impressive specimen. He's like my height, so he's like average height, like 5'9", 5'10", something like that. And he's not particularly anything. He's got his personality, if I had to describe it, would be closest to like a pothead. You know, just very chill and whatever, going with the flow. And then one day, during his many travels, he took, I think he got one shot with ayahuasca. Don't quote me on this one. I don't remember, but he was doing a lot of that peyote type stuff in the woods. I think he might have been with Jack Donovan, but don't quote me on that one either. Anyways, found God. And it wasn't just enough to find God and convert to Christianity and live out your life as a Christian. He had to repent from his evil ways. So he took all of his books off the market. He literally did some social media where he's burning them into a fire. I don't know what the fuck he did after that. All I know is he's like, yeah, all this stuff that I have done that was useful to so many guys, I think it's evil and wrong. And he pulled the ladder up from under him. So I don't like that. Like, I've never had a problem with him. Two of us have been getting along well enough. He probably does not like my acerbic style, which is fine, but it is interesting to see how he did the same thing that Roosh did, where it's like, yeah, this was great and helped a lot of people, but now I don't like it, so none of you get to enjoy it either. So, yeah, it was a very strange thing. I don't know. Then Hunter Drew, or Zach Small, or Family Alpha, or Training the Brain. I don't know, he had like 8 different names and brandings. That one was a weird one. because he kind of joined the Red Pill within the same week that I did. I think it was, yeah, like Tuesday, Thursday kind of situation. And he had his situation, I had my situation. We get through our stuff, we get through, and we were just happy doing this like hobby style until that convention that shall not be named, where Rolo's like, yeah, I'll do the convention, but I want to bring, like, I don't want it to be just me and a bunch of pickup artists. I want to bring a bunch of red-pilled people in there. So he asked me, and I was doing fine. I had a vacation saved up from work anyway. And then he asked Zach, who I think was about to leave the military at the time. So he might have been on his leave. I don't know. So we both went in. We did our thing. Or no, was I working? I can't remember. I had 2 different career tracks in each year of convention. I can't remember which is which. One of them, I was working in financial regulation, and the other one, I was doing consulting contract stuff with a startup. I don't remember which one was which. One of them I had vacation, and the other one was just took some time. Yeah, so he was weird. Like, he always kept doing the how to make the wife your bitch, how to make her your slut, how to keep her on her toes, all that covert contract, how to fuck your wife. And it always had like he just went gung-ho with it. He was very confident about it, which kudos for that. But I remember a lot of the guys that we kind of knew growing up, they were all kind of critiquing her, like, dude, what are you doing? It's kind of like, oh, you're just haters. Like, I'm not hating, I don't care, but what the fuck are you doing? Like, I remember at one point Anthony Johnson wanted to show like Legions of Anarchy or something stupid like that. And it was the idea of like some hardcore guys being family men. And at one point they put him in one of those big fucking suits and they had some dogs rip him apart. And he's like, dude, fucking dogs got me. I remember the guys were like, dude, what the fuck is this? You will have to torture me. That has to be a real dog attack video to get you filming me being attacked by a dog in a video about how masculine I am. It's like, fuck that. Jesus. Yeah, and he just kept doing his thing. And I remember he and Jack Murphy, back when we were all still talking, dude, we should bring our wife into the podcasts. We should do like a wife and husband show, some good marriage stuff. And everybody who was red pilled were like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? No. Do not bring your wife into this thing. And that's when I told him the tale of Athol K. The Athol K and the missing house, bankruptcy, and heart attack. Yeah, to bring, even if she's like your greatest ally and the best friend and the greatest lover and your marriage is perfect, don't bring your wife in on this shit. It will, just the biology of it, just get ruined. Because it's like, she's going to be a woman. And that's fine, but not for this. Not for this. Silver Bishop, €10 super chat. 2 heartfelts for you, Couch. Oh, thank you very much, sir. We've already done the jack, so we'll skip it on this time. After transporting 40 liters of garden soil from my pot plants. Is that how they measure it in Europe? Interesting. I thought they would do pounds or kilos like they do here in the West. For my potted plants on a backpack with my bicycle halfway across the city, being a minimalist sometimes comes with suffering. Well, you know what you can do? For like things like this, you're always able to like rent a car or get a delivery done. You don't have to cycle it in, but yeah. And then Free Gender, $20 super chat. Jesus, though. 40 liters of garden soil, potted plants. I guess it is time for like gardening. Shouldn't you have started this a month ago, by the way? It's a little late in the season to be starting your garden. But what do I know? Your climate might be better for it now. Free Gender said, please read in the chat. I will please read in the chat. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, here we go. I love Rollo's interpretation of the prodigal son. The point of it wasn't the son found God. The point of the story was everybody accepted him back because it made them feel they were right. Yeah. I agree with that. I see you typing more, so I'll get to it. Yeah, that prodigal son was never about that. It was because if you guys don't know, it's like 2 sons. One stays home, does Jesus right, works the farm, whatever. The other son goes out whoring and whatever, and then comes back broke and penniless and redeems and redemption and like, I forgive you, and they bring him back in, and he kind of gets the preferential treatment. And the other son's like, dude, what the hell? I sat here, I worked for you, I did everything. Like, why are you giving it to him? He basically shunned you and came back. And if I remember, there was some line in there, it's been a while since I've read it, but there was a line in there about how, yeah, you never had a crisis of conscience, a crisis of faith. He went, through the belly of the beast and came back and still found it when he could have done anything. So with his path, he's more deserving, I think was the thing in there. But anyways, yeah, it's the perfect handbook for a psychopath to take advantage of everyone. P.S. Thank you for recommending that book, Wisdom of Psychopaths. Oh yeah, dude. It's not a red-pilled book. It's not on the sidebar, but I would argue it should be. But I already added Practical Female Psychology to the sidebar. That was my contribution. I don't want to be the guy that, like, the Ryan curated list, so we'll leave that one off. But yeah, oh, it totally is. And how many examples have you seen of that? Like, porn star finds God, still does porn, but now it's like with Jesus. And Tate's finding religion every time he runs into a criminal charge. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Oh, Bish, the soil, if putting the plants into bigger pots, and I know you can use car sharing. Oh, here we go. And you know you can use car sharing. Where'd it go? Ah, damn it. All right, there was something about car sharing. But that's fine. Yeah, okay. So you could have, you just chose not to. I get it. It sucks for the cycling with the soil. Because you'd think that heaviness would make it great, but it's on the top heavy of your bike. So it actually makes it harder to maintain stability. Unless you can get those saddles on the side of your bikes, but yeah. Anyway, so the hunter drew, and that was the thing. So like, they're like, I want to bring my wife onto this thing. It's like, no, you really don't. And there was a bit of a blow up, and Hunter just like immediately picked sides. He went with the marketing guys. Anthony Johnson promised everybody the moon. Oh, dude, we're going to make millions. It's going to be the biggest thing. Talking like Timu Trump. And it was like weird how everybody started picking sides right away. And I'm like, dude, Rollo brought me in. I've never had any issues with him. And I remember at the time, so Anthony Johnson had already fucking gone after Rich. Like, Rich is a fucking traitor and blah, blah, blah. And I was going, all right. So I kind of just quietly was like, you know what? You know that rule, always treat a girl, like look at a girl the way she treats waitstaff, and that's how she'll treat you someday. I kind of did that thing. So I just saw how he treated Rich. I was like, yeah, I didn't really make a big deal out of it. I just quietly did my own thing and kind of stopped showing up to stuff, but nobody really knew anything was up because I didn't say anything. Talked to Rich, made sure he was okay. Apparently I was one of the few people, I think me and Rollo were the only two people that like called Rich. It's like, dude, are you all right? Like, what the hell? Just to see how he was doing. He's like, yeah, thanks, man. Which is weird. Everybody's talking about their brotherhood of men. Can't even pick up the fucking phone. But who'd have known? Wrestling isn't real. Where am I going with this one? Oh, yeah. So Hunter started his private community. And the idea was like a manhood, alpha male con, accountability conference thing. Like, whatever. But, I think he was charging like $1,000 or $100 a month or something stupid like that, which good for him. I don't know how popular it got. It couldn't have been very much because he was doing that with his morning brew. And then after like a year or two, he's like, yeah, I'm leaving. And he just left. He's gone. He's in the workforce now, back in a wagey job. I don't know if he's still doing this stuff or not. I really don't. You guys will have to let me know. Ishan, I see you on the 4th book update. I'll let you know in just a bit. So yeah, I don't know. He just kind of went off and did his thing. Ed Lattimore, way cooler story. He just he doesn't start no shit. He doesn't start no drama. He just has crack jokes and he does his thing. And kudos to him for it. And he's leveraged his very short professional boxing career into, like, I don't want to call it self-help, but it's kind of like the Mark Manson. He's turned into Black Mark Manson, which good for him. He has a book, either just came out or is coming out. He got picked up by, I think it was Penguin. So he's got a traditional publishing deal and he's got that coming. I wish I had more details on it. We've talked about it. We've talked, like, swapped some notes back and forth about books and the industry and stuff. So he moved to Portugal to be with his wife and had a new kid. His visa expired, had to move back to the States. I think he's back in Philly now. And he's like the Black Mr. Rogers, man. He just does his thing. Doesn't really care. He's red-pilled as anybody, but he's not acerbic about it. He's kind of a great model of how you're supposed to do this. Like, stop attaching yourself to the branding. It's very unattractive, but just use it. And there's there's new people coming up like that too. Like Cartoons Hater. She's a Substack writer. And we've talked a bit behind the scenes, and she was kind of like in the red pill space back when I was, but there's always like a few women that are in there. They kind of do, the good ones kind of lurk, and then the bad ones join Purple Pill debate and start some shit. So she was one of those ones, and she did it, and she did her thing, and she got herself a husband, and she's married with kids now, and she's happy, and now she's writing about it. And I'm like, I recognize a lot of the stuff she's writing about. I'm like, dude, this is some red pill stuff. But she like twists the words just a little bit so that people don't associate it with the branding, and she's taken off, which is good for her. The older you get, the more staying in shape becomes a flex. Yeah, it's true. My brother called me the prodigal son one time. I didn't know what it meant, but I left again, so it wasn't worth it. I mean, technically, if you want to get into it, I would be the prodigal son. Like, my brother still lives one town over from our parents. And meanwhile, I've moved across the country like twice. And I'll probably be in the States here in like a year or two. How is Torsha with the RP space? I don't know. As far as, I don't know how, like, her working relationship with Rolo is. I kind of don't really pay attention to that. I don't know if she's ever collabed with other people. She's been on my show twice, and she was like an hour late both times. So I'm just kind of like, I got no issues with her, but I'm like, yeah, if you're not going to be on time, then whatever. I'm not even talking about to the minute on time. I mean, like, less than an hour late, or at least some notification so you can kind of work around it. That's just it. Odd that the visa in Portugal expired. We're having a lot of illegal immigrant problems. Well, illegal immigrant, that's the thing. There's no enforcement mechanism. It's the same thing as Canada's having right now, where you figured out, oh, you get on your visa to come here and then just stay and see how long it takes the country to kick you out. That's the issue. The problem is if you're following the rules because you want to build a proper life, proper productive tax-paying citizen, it's very difficult. But if you're just like, yeah, fuck that, and you don't do any of that stuff, then yeah, you're basically forcing a very incompetent government to do something about it. Next one was Carl. Carl, I like his little arc because it was the same thing. He had his divorce. He used to be the co-host of this show or sidekick. I don't know what the thing is. Like, kind of equal. Like, I was in charge, but he always liked coming up, and we enjoyed it. It was just kind of like our thing. But yeah, he wrote 1,000 essays. He wrote 2 books. He came in hard. He came in like the thunder. He had a very acrimonious divorce. Wife tried stabbing him, left him. He moved down to the States, started doing consulting work of some sort, making his money. He even had like a whiskey still for a while, and then he moved back to, Europe or whatever. And I kept in touch for like a year or two after he left, because he just left one day. One day he's like, you know what? I've said everything I want to say. I'm done. And then he just left. I was like, good for him. But yeah, we talked a bit after. So he got himself a new girl. They picked up a dog. He got himself a great career. Dude, like, I'm only just catching up to him now. So yeah, he wasn't hurting for cash. We'll put it that way. Good for him. Didn't bother coming back. Has no qualms about it. As far as I know, he might be listening in on these things. He might be one of you, and it might be Siege D or Alex or Jenna Masson La Rose. Could be Carl, and we wouldn't know. Wouldn't even know. Behind the scenes, he did one face reveal to like me and Rich and Rolo. Maybe John, and that's it. All I gotta say is, dude, yeah, he looks good. He's a good looking man. Who else was in that one? There was AJ Cortez. I don't know what the fuck went on with him. He blocked me fast because I was like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, he's pleasant enough to talk to, but then as soon as you get him online, he just turns into a fucking retard. They called him a himbo. All I know is that he keeps coming up with like muscle and fitness magazine articles, sells them as e-courses, like $10 a pop. And I guess he's done pretty well for himself. I guess if you have 40 e-courses and each one of them sells 1,000 copies, that's like, 4 million courses or something, 400,000 courses, $10 a pop, 4 million. Like, I don't know how the math works. And it could be all made up. I don't know. And then he would just latch on to whatever the biggest thing was. I remember, and this is the one thing, I've had this as a standing order. I'm like, $100, I will PayPal it to you tomorrow. There is a photo from his old email list, and I regret 2 things I haven't saved to my hard drive as soon as I saw them, and I regret it to this day. The first one is Dr. Babe Dude Love, aka Taylor Burrows, in her car in YouTube crying about how she could have had any man she wanted in her 20s, but she decided not to, and now she's in her late 30s and she doesn't have a man. She's never gonna have a family, and she's fucking balling out in her car. And I was like, this relationship coach is a fucking mess. So I wanted to save that. And then the second one was AJ and Tate. They did a collab. It was for one of their online courses. I don't know which one. If I didn't remember the context, I might even have the picture now. But it was him and Tate LARPing as Street Fighter characters in a Thailand temple. It was back when AJ had his beard that he would trim like way too high. So it had that pasted on beard look. And it was just him dressed as something. And I think Tate was dressed as Sagat. Or maybe they were both Sagat. I don't remember which one it was. But they were both. One was Sagat and one was like Ken. And they were shirtless. And they're doing their thing. And then they did like the bro handshake stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. I to this day, I regret that. $100 to anybody on PayPal if they can get it to me. My God. Yeah, it might be Marty. You never know. But it's interesting to see. And he's, as far as I know, he's still good. He married an Indian girl who... And there was some rumors, like she kind of left to go sow her wild oats for a year and then came back and they were dating the whole time. So it's one of those long distance relationships. And you can... I mean, you know the red pill take on long-term relationships don't work. But he was like, oh, I'm too alpha. Don't worry about that. And then I guess they have a family now and he's got a kid and he's doing his thing. I don't know. And to be fair... Oh, that's right. It might have been Sagat and Dalsim. Sagat was bald, Yoga Flame one, probably then. Tate then. Yeah, I think it was Dalsim and Sagat. Anyways, it doesn't really matter which Street Fighter characters are. It could be Charlie for all I know. So as far as I know, he's doing his thing. And it's fine. It's like, yeah, he won't give me the time of day. And to be fair, I'm not looking for the time of day either. So it's not really, not heartfelt. But, it's better him than Cernovich. Yeah, I remember when I first started doing email marketing, because I had to learn how to do that for the books, right? How to build an audience with your emails. It was back when I was on like MailChimp, pre-Substack, which subscribe to it, by the way. You're going to love it. And I'd read his emails, and it was just literally like talking about his day. It was like a day in the life of a himbo TikTok. Oh, I had a bagel and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, he would have like a couple paragraphs on, by the way, carbs are blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, holy shit. There's no way anybody's reading this. There's no way. Fucking kills me, man. Kills me. Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips. Fuck you.
Hey. Who's next on that list? Who was else at that stupid conference? Pat Stedman, I think, was the year I left. The day I gone, he's like, yeah, I'm taking over. Fuck that Ryan guy, which is pretty funny. I mean, I've told his story so much, I'm not even going to bother with that one this time. Do you really need the Pat Stedman story yet again? Your ex-post regarding Milo, Cernovich, and more was pretty true. Hardly anyone remembers them. Oh, yeah. That's kind of what spawned this whole thing, by the way. If you guys don't know, right now, there is... Milo Yiannopoulos is spilling tea on Laura Loomer, Baked Alaska, Mike Cernovich, and a bunch of others. Oh yeah, Donovan. We'll get to that one. Good point. Anyway, spilling the tea on all of them. Apparently, Laura Loomer was like the town bicycle and everybody had a ride. Now, here was the part that I found funny. Is like his tweets on this are doing okay, but they're not doing great. They're not insane. They're not world-shattering news. He didn't break the internet. It's about the same drama you would see on like Rolo having side-eye at me or me having side-eye at him or something stupid like that. It's not great. And I realized, like, dude, I get it now. I understand Andy Worski so much better. And you're like, who are any of these people? That's the lore, man. That's the lore. People come, people go. Longevity is the marker. Stefan Molyneux gets a lot of flack for being a bit of a dumbass, and that's fine, and I'm probably a source of at least 10% of that. But he's still here, he's still doing his thing, and he hasn't been nuked from orbit yet, like Lauren Southern, who got knocked up by a Fed. Single mom, knocked up by a Fed. Senate had her in there. It's like, why are you dealing with Russian disinformation? She's like, you know what? Fuck this place. I'm out of here. I'm going to go back to being a shitty mom. And I'm like, well, good for her. But come on. Bit of a mess. Anyways, I don't know much about Loomer other than she was part of that same group of people, that whole manosphere needs to get into politics group. And I was like, dude, and she was like 23 at the time going, why does the 40-year-old, 23-year-old talking to me? Just a horrid looking woman. Yeah, hello. Yes. Yeah. Nuke. Anyway, so Milo Yiannopoulos, he was kind of doing his thing. Actually, you know what? We'll go back first to JF Garapi and Andy Worski. So they were the original Fresh and Fit on the internet. Before that, there was like Jerry Springer and that, but they were original Fresh and Fit. And they were doing Outrage Broken. They had Brittany Venti and Roosh. That was the one thing I remember them for, is that Brittany Venti and Roosh were arguing about traditional female whatever and sluts. And you know Roosh, fire and brimstone speech, looking very serious, completely not catching the joke. And Brittany Venti just torturing him, treating him like a lull cow, milking him for laughs for like 2 hours. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And I've always got a soft spot in my heart for that. But I never trusted her. Of course, Rolo did, and then he got suckered into a whole bunch of, like, they tried to sucker him in with, I guess Venti had nudes from when she was 17 or something like that. Some 4chan op. There's a whole lore on there. I'm not even going to get into it. I don't really care. But they somehow got him on an email saying, send me what you got, or something like that. Anyways, the idea was, oh, got him. Pedo fishing. It's like, what the hell is this shit? This is ridiculous. And I'm just like realizing, like, these people had nothing to lose. That's all Venti does. And the only reason she gets away with it is because she's got big tits. So it's like, I would just walk away. In fact, I did walk away. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But you kind of, like, you saw how she treated Roosh. Were you expecting anything different? So these guys were doing well for a while. And the JF Garapi, he was like, and never, here's a Canadian fact for you. Never trust a Quebec separatiste who's under the age of 45. Because, well, I guess it was 45. Now it's like 55. If you weren't alive and able to vote in the Meech Lake Accords in 1986, then you're not a French separatist. They're not. They're just some LARPing ones. It's kind of like how people call people Nazis today. It's that kind of shit. And so he was one of those. And, the rumor is he murdered his wife, but he also married a mentally handicapped wife because he wanted to steal the baby out of the hospital. And there was a whole lot of drama. Basically, look, I'm all for like false accusations against fathers or whatever. A false accusation, fine. But like 17 of them, and they're all different, and they're all from different places, and they're all about different things. It's like, dude, there's no way you're this unlucky. And it's not 1,000 people accused him of one thing. It's 1,000 people accusing him of 1,000 things. It's like, bro, something is up here. So anyway, Worski and JF, they started falling off because popularity went down and people moved on to the next thing. And they started getting more desperate for views. I remember the big moment for me was Worski when he started live streaming, pouring wax onto his nipples, like torturing himself on camera. Fucking weird. And he kind of died and left and tried coming back and it didn't work. And I looked at this where the new generation of people, same thing. They're like, oh, we're going to ride the Trump train. There was Laura Loomer. There was Milo Yiannopoulos. There's a bunch of other people. Baked Alaska, Mike Cernovich. I can't remember if Mark Manson did it. But anyways, these are like pre-Red Pill manosphere people. So like the predecessors, the ones you can learn from. And I guess they were, and from the Senate hearings of Lauren Southern, whose sister's the hotter one, but neither here nor there. Apparently all they did was do coke and sleep with each other. And supposedly a few of them had gone to Tate's compound, which is Epstein Island for millennials. I don't know how else to describe it. Sex tapes, prostitution, stuff like that. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to the Tate mansion? Well, the Tate warehouse in the industrial district and having him hook you up with some chicks? It's like, do you not see the issue with this? Here, sit in my well-lit compound and here, have this prostitute who may or may not be of age. The InfoWars guy was end up on camera doing that one. Webcam shit. Anyways, it was just fucking weird. Yeah, everybody used to listen to it. And that's the thing. So then, that's it. Their time has come. Their time has gone. No, it wasn't Alex Jones. It was the other guy, the British one. who always has the flag behind him when he talks, or the map behind him. But their time came and their time gone, and now it's gone, and they're trying to come. Everybody's trying to come back. I noticed that. I saw Milo coming back. Stefan Molyneux came back. And Stefan's just going back to the same thing, shitting on feminists with egg carton memes. I'm like, fair enough. Milo is basically just spilling the tea. He's telling you all the shit that they did. Ah, dude, everybody pig roasted Laura Loomer. I was like, all right, whatever. Oh my God, you have no idea what Cernovich did to the Troons. Like, oh. And the Zoomers are just laughing at them. Like, you guys are such a joke. They don't even call him Cernovich. They call him Horatio Troonblower, which I thought that was the funniest thing. I just picture, like, and I made a meme for it, which it didn't take off, but that's fine. It was Gondor, like the Horn of Gondor with what's his face, Boromir, playing it, and it's Horatio Troonblower. I don't know why. That's just the first thing I pictured. Thank you, Paul Joseph Watson. That's the guy. So that's all they got left is and this is essentially scavenging the corpse. This is vultures eating the dead rotted meat off of a corpse. That's it. So it's gonna happen for a little bit. Yeah, there's that final little bit of hurrah, but nobody cares anymore. And I'd argue Fresh and Fit's kind of there now. So, which explains now Myron's kind of doing the same thing. Like, isn't he just shitting on Jews all day? Like, that's all he does is the fucking Jews, man. Fucking. And I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, whatever. I've got internet rules. The way if you want to have a long and heartfelt industry career in the internet. I think there's only 3 rules. There might be 4. But as I say them, you'll count. First rule. No unironic Austrian painter bullshit. No ironic Austrian painter bullshit. It's not about whether things are true. It's about whether you want to stay online, having your career, and not be thought of as a joke. Or cancel outright. 2, no pedo stuff. Don't touch kids. These rules seem extremely easy to follow, don't they? Yes, you'd think. But that sweet nectar of the chaos gods calleth. Third rule, no making fun of Democrats on an election year. It's just, and again, every time I've ever seen somebody removed from the internet, had their livelihoods crushed on the internet, it's one of those 3 things every time. Small hat stuff, the PDF file stuff, and the fucking Democrats. If you can stay away from those 3 topics, and even then, the Democrats is just on an election year. If you can stay away from those things, you cannot be canceled off the internet. I don't care how many feminists are mad at you. I don't care how many red-pilled hit pieces are on you. I don't care what Piers Morgan says. You will be fine. You will survive. There will be an Epstein Island for Zoomers within 5 years. Well, I mean, technically Zoomers would be, they're not old enough for an Epstein Island yet. They would be the contestants, not the producers. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah. And it's wild. Like I said, it's my red pill stuff. I've kind of pivoted. I've said everything I've needed to say, and I still talk about it. Like, I'm not ashamed of it or anything like that. And I don't burn it aside, but I don't like the idea of just repeating myself. So a lot of this is switching over to, I don't want to say media literacy, but kind of like, and I don't want to say critique. It's not either of those. It's more like anthropology, media anthropology on this space. Because it really is a fascinating lesson. And dude, for all I know, like Nuke's in the chat. Nuke, absolutely. Building himself a YouTube career and social media stuff. So like, these are great lessons for guys like him and guys like me. How do you avoid becoming the Laura Loomer? First off, don't fuck the town bicycle in your social media group. Don't let the big loudmouth guy, if you've seen a guy spread one secret on social media, automatically put him in the do not trust him with personal information camp. That's just no brainer. I find Milo funny. I find him eloquent. I like his writing. I missed his Bloomberg articles. They were pretty good. Would not trust him as far as I could throw him. Not a bit. Would not trust him with the secret to save my life. And yet people still do it. And then they're wondering, that's crazy. He shared all those other people's intimate details, but he shared mine? No. And I'm sure there's like a real life equivalent to this. If you're not doing this stuff online, there's work equivalents. Like, dude, I got friends from the military, and I knew if I had something that was meant to maintain secrecy, who I could tell and who I could not tell. Crazy, by the way, since everybody in my friends group had a top secret clearance and worked top secret communications. So it's like, why do I even have to have this conversation? It's like, Jesus. But yeah, there was Friends. I knew if I tell this guy, he's going to tell his wife is going to tell everybody else, flat out. So if I wanted something to be told to everybody, I would tell him. If I didn't want everybody to know, I would not tell him. And the switched on friends of mine knew this too. It's like, yeah, you don't tell him, and you don't tell him. Just don't. It's like, yeah, fair. Don't, like, never slag off your former employer in a job interview. Yeah, it's like, I think this is what they call it when they call it second order effects, right? But it's crazy when you look at all this stuff. You see, because social media, it's not like this fucking thing, whatever you want to call it, content creator, whatever. It's not content though, and I'm not a creator. I was like, well, maybe. I'm an author, but I'm online. I'm marketing. So what? I don't know what to call this fucking job. Don't piss off radfems on X. Keep your distance. I mean, piss them off a little, but yeah, you don't want them hyper fixating on you. That much is certain. Appearing on Fuentes is the online version of Dancing with the Stars. There's always going to be a David Duke. If you guys don't remember, David Duke was the baby boomer white nationalist. I think he was like a Klan guy, but he wasn't really. Like, I was pretty sure he was a Fed. And then there was Richard Spencer, who was like the Gen X or maybe millennial. I'm not sure which. I think millennial David Duke. And now you got Fuentes, who is the Zoomer David Duke. And it's just like, they have a big sign on their back that says, it's like a Venus flytrap. Why would you even go near that? But everybody's like, oh, this would be great. I can argue about the 3 rules of the internet, man. JQ, PDFs, DNC. Do not. But it's a good job. It's not an easy job. Like, I'll say this. Like, I've done everything. I've dug ditches, I've hauled lines in the military. I've farm work, chased cows. Every physical and mental job you do. I've done corporate stuff. I've done consulting. I've done financial compliance, information security, whatever. This job is the physically and mentally easiest of all of those jobs. It doesn't have this, it doesn't drain you the same way that corporate work does. You don't have that same social minefield you have to navigate. You can kind of speak your mind, which is fine. You have to have some level of tact depending on what you're trying to do. Sometimes you just want to be a heel, and then, yeah, as long as you're more playful and not so much hatred, like the John Anthony lifestyle hit videos, they were just mean and spiteful. That's why they never took off. You kind of have to, but like, you watch my George Bruno ad, you cannot make an anti-George Bruno ad hating George Bruno. You can't. It has to come from a place like where you're ribbing your best friend, busting your best friend's balls. If you cannot make a hit piece with that kind of tone, then you're not making a hit piece. Andrew Wilson is the Bill O'Reilly of I'd argue he's the Pierce Morgan of it, but I mean, I'm not going to quibble over definitions on this one. He was never really, he would be closer to Vox Day than Rollo Tomassi, if you get what I mean. There was technically more than, like, there was a red pill, but there was also, I think they called it Dark Enlightenment. I couldn't tell you. But Vox Day started that, and that was like Orthodox Christianity version of the red pill. That's where, by the way, if you ever want to know where like alpha male, beta male, and sigma male stuff came from, and gamma males, that's Dark Enlightenment. That is Vox Day. That's all him. That was not red pill stuff. A lot of the initial Jordan Peterson hate, not like Rollo and I or the Rule Zero guys where we had critique, but the hate stuff, that came from red pill. But the actual like hater, mean-spirited stuff came from the Dark Enlightenment side. And then, so anytime you see an Orthodox Christianity guy, they come from like the Vox Day camp. And you're like, what's with all these little niches? It's like, that's how it works. There's a bunch of little niches. We all got lumped together by Mother Jones in 2010 because they wanted to compare Paul Elam to Cernovich and Roosh. It just makes it easier to attack a group if you join them into a group like that. So yeah, exactly. Sociosexual hierarchy. Can we get a George Bruno right now? I've already put the George Bruno ad right now, so you'll have to throw a super chat if you want me to double up on it. I already wasted 9 of your guys' minutes just showing ads of me yelling at people. But yeah, so it's very interesting. And you can have a decent career. The trick is, like, first off, you have to have a thing you do. You have to have something you're interested in, something you're good at, something you're passionate about. Like for me, I have in-depth longitudinal knowledge about everything the Red Pill has done. It's almost like a historian or an anthropologist. So no matter what happens, we can have all the drama in the world. I can have Rolo call me an asshole. I can have Nuke decide to leave and all this shit, and that's fine. I've still got this. I've still got my skill. And when you don't have that, that's where you end up doing the Milo thing. He has nothing. Like, what does he have? What is he known for? Talking shit. That's it. Interpersonal gossip. So yeah, once he's trying to get his last claim to fame, all he's going to do, talk some more shit. So damn it. Sage D, $5.01 super chat. F for George Bruno because he blocked and blasted. Son of a bitch. Fine. I thought for sure that was going to talk you out of it too. All right, well, it serves me right. Never tell the internet no. Rule of thumb. Here, I got you. Just give me a sec. There she is. There it is. There she is.
Ryan Stone, another
It is just.
Oh my God.
If you're a young man, you need to figure out what you're trying to do with your life, you need to subscribe to his goddamn channel.
What the fuck?
Megan Fox with a dick or Hulk Hogan with a pussy.
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
Do you see that Waffle House there? There's murderers in there.
You have to conclude that Trump betrayed us.
Socially retarded fact.
Seething.
Don't work with retard.
He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile, can be a gentleman, snarky as even in person, yet he blocks me and talks shit about. Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
Fucking guy, man. An unending supply of advertising fodder. Bless that bearded Santa Claus looking man. Siege, by the way, love the Iggy in the profile photo. Fucking guy. Oh, Destiny being cucked while he sat there with the sound silence played over it. Genius. Technically, the original one had like "Hello Darkness, my old friend." You know that song? Had that one in there, and then it just zooms in slowly on Destiny's face. It's pretty funny. It's just funny. Is he, you know, he's blocked his son on Twitter. It's like, oh, this shit is weird. Yes, you're right. Where was I going with this one? Oh yeah, the marketing careers. It's just so strange because you see, there's enough of us now. There's enough of people out here that you can see what a good social media career can do. You've seen the winners, you've seen the losers, and obviously growth isn't slow and gradual. Growth comes in spurts. You need some kind of attention-grabbing event to draw an audience. Like PewDiePie, for example. He was kind of just doing his thing. He was like mid-tier. And then he had that New York Times hit piece on him about the Nazi stuff. And then he became huge. And then he had the thing where he was fighting with T-Series over being the biggest channel on YouTube. So he was fighting the country of India. And he did Bitch Lasagna. And then he grew huge on that one. So you kind of have to do these ostentatious things. Which I don't do. Which is probably why I'm but I'm like stable and I'm happy with that. One of these days I might have to do some kind of like big attention grabbing thing. Like I don't even know what you would do nowadays. I'm surprised more people haven't been caught like jerking off on a live stream or something stupid like that, which I think is the wrong way to get attention. But what do I know? It's not on the 3 rules. I guess no jerking off might be number 4. We'll have to know. I'm known for, yeah, exactly. Nuke was a nobody, and then he called Sydney Sweeney mid. A bunch of feminists got mad, and now there's people still, and he's milking it, which you should. Dude, I'm milking these. I'm milking George Bruno. Fuck it, why not? I'm milking Andrew Tate. I'm milking Murphy. Milking like some random feminist nobody's ever heard of. Yeah, do it. Bitch Lasagna was great. It's a cyborg greyhound. I work with a lot of sighthounds. No shit. A cyborg one? Like, do they get, what, fake eyes? Or, like, lost a leg to glaucoma or something? You got, like, fancy prosthetic feet on them? Those ones with, like, the little bendy ski pole backs so they can run faster? Because that would be slick. Watching a greyhound with those cybernetic running legs. Some cyberpunk shit, man. Milking for nickels. Fucking guys. Yeah, and so you look back and you see how many more were there. I mean, there was even this joke we had, a running joke. I don't remember if we posted it publicly or not. I think we did. what it was. So at every 21 convention, there would be a photo where all the speakers stood together, stared at the camera, and they got them there. And what would happen is every couple weeks, Anthony Johnson would have like a freak out moment and call somebody a traitor and try to cancel them and write hit pieces on them and shit like that and harass them and stalk their families and try and pick up their daughters and, you know, that kind of crazy shit. And then you would see like a little X on it again. So it was like those movies where it's like, oh, how's the squad from Nam? And you look and there's X's over everybody but like Rambo and his last friend. And it was a big joke that every time you'd have a blowout, you'd start crossing them out. And I don't think there's anybody left on that 2017 list that doesn't have an X through them. Except for the paid speaker. There was a couple guys that were paid speakers that were big deals, like Joe Navarro. He doesn't know what the fuck any of this stuff is. He came in just to talk about his thing. He paid the speaker's fee. He's in there. Red Pill Bros are all dog people. What the fuck does that even mean? Morlocks and Eloy and dog people? What kind of Warhammer reference is this? But yeah, you can get through it. And for you guys, it's important because you kind of have to realize what the game is. Like the Overton window thing doesn't exist. When there was the Red Pill Bros versus feminists, there was no Red Pill versus feminist thing. It was all pro wrestling. None of the feminists really gave a shit. Even in Gamergate, the feminists didn't give a shit about the gamers. They wanted their careers to take off. They wanted consulting fees. They wanted Sweet Baby Inc. They wanted Anita Sarkeesian and Co. They wanted to make their 15 minutes of fame and make their money. And then they all just kind of disappeared and went away. And then there was Red Pill guys versus liberals. And that was just so a bunch of guys could get their political careers kickstarted. And then those kind of broke off for the most part. And then they kind of went away. And I'm positive this liberal versus Republican thing in the States is all fake AstroTurf shit too, because people just want careers. Because that's kind of what you have to do. You create an in-group, you create an out-group, and you attack the out-group as content and inside jokes and loyalty-building exercises for the in-group. Yes, I'm poking fun at these guys. Yes, they're yelling at me. No, nobody cares and nobody believes it, but it's fun and it's entertaining, and we now have an out-group. We have somebody who can laugh at that guy because he's not cool. We're cool and he's lame. Fuck that guy. Yeah. Paul J? Which one's J? I don't remember the last name. So is that Podcast Paul or is that Military Paul? Because Podcast and Military Paul, they're still doing this as like a side gig. Remember, they still have their careers. They're doing their thing. They have their normal jobs. And I would argue they don't get on the list for that reason. And it's not a negative thing. If anything, that's a positive thing. They really can't take this place too seriously because they have their own shit that they're doing and they're earning a paycheck for outside of it, which good for them. There is something different about doing this full time versus doing this part time. I think Nuke is I think you're still part time on this one too. But I can see that kind of going away soon. The way things are going, I could definitely see you having that moment where you realize, and everybody has it, where you realize you are at max output. You could work harder, you could build more, but you will have to make a choice, either the social media career or the career. And at first it's scary because I don't know what your career pays. If it's like $100,000 and your online one pays $50,000, you're like, fuck, I got to give up $100,000 to get 60 to 70 grand. And for the first 5 years, it absolutely is. But then after that, you'll start to, you'll make parody and then you'll make more. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And it becomes a new job. It's like anything. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. Yeah, treat the revenue you found in this space as found money. Well, I mean, you just treat it like anything. The one thing I will admit is nice about this is it changes your relationship with money. And you guys, a lot of you guys have career salaries. I don't know hourly wages versus career. So the hourly guys, you might know different. But for the salaried guys, you treat money as like an input and output thing. I get this much money, make a budget, try to balance the budget, put aside this thing. It's almost like a game where you're just trying to balance the scale. Here, money is discrete elements. There's no like monthly thing coming in. No, it's like I'll launch a book and it'll make 20 grand or 10 grand or something like that. And then for the next year, it'll make, 3 grand, and then you do audiobooks. So every project has a bell curve of revenue that comes out of it. And so when you have money, then you don't treat it like a bill, like I have to spend 60% of this and then save 40%. No, it's just like money now is a discrete unit, which is interesting. It makes you definitely, instead of looking at things like, can I afford this now? It's like, do I even want this? Have I tried screenwriting? I mean, a lot of what I've learned about writing, I learned from screenwriting stuff. I don't think I'd be, I might be good at a screenwriter. I don't know. The problem is I don't have anybody to give screenplays to. So it's like, I don't know. Feels like printing money. In a way, for me, it's more so, it reminds me of farming more than anything. And I think this is the reason why you kind of have to get people who have had working class backgrounds, like they've had to work with their hands before, because only they can truly appreciate this industry for what it is. And it's got that element, because like corporate stuff is just an unending supply of work. Things happen. There's no sense of accomplishment. But with farming or ranching, there is always something at the end of the day you can point to and saying, I built that, I fixed that, I fed that, I slaughtered that. You know, there's always something there that you can hold in your hand saying, this is because I did it. Manufacturing, same thing. Logging, same thing. I loaded up that logging truck with logs. I chopped down, I bucked all of that. There's always a pile. Here, same thing. I can point to one of my books. I can say, I started that, I finished that. It is a project. It is done. It is there. I know what I did. I know my worth. And then when I watch it come in, it's like, yeah, it's rewarding. It's got a reward to it. Same thing with this. I have like 800 videos on this fucking channel. Did you know that? It's probably closer to 1,000 when you add the clips in. But every single one, it is like an individual thing. And even though some of the videos are like just a penny a month, maybe 3 views, something like that, that's fine. That, in perpetuity, that is a 3-cent piece of revenue that will always be there. And it makes you proud of it. And it kind of encourages you to like make the best of what you can, at least for people who do this properly. Make the best one you can, because that will be there forever. And people may love it and continue to watch it in perpetuity. It may be evergreen. It may be a timely thing and it's got its moment in the sun and then it's gone. But that's it. That's it. Like, I'll never have another relationship breakdown. Those are there and those are done. And that is the list. And that is all they'll ever be. And I get to look back at those now and be like, there's things I'll want to change. There's things I think I can do better. There's things I've learned since then. But they are always there and they will always be a part of this work. And I enjoy that. And the fact that you guys are still here 6 years later, while I'm running my mouth making fun of like Red Pill, Small, Zach Small, and all these other people, it's, I don't know if the word is, I guess humbling. Yeah. I'm just sitting here fucking around. You guys are listening. Why? Because I'm making an effort to make it as entertaining as possible, to tell you a story, to take you along, help you get through your workday as best you can. You guys will send me a super chat because you like making fun of stuff. You want to see the George Bruno ad. You want to see Jack Murphy yelling at Sydney Watson again. It's like when he tells her to fuck herself, it's just like, that's the pinnacle of my day. Here's $5, sir. Yeah, a lot can change in 5 years. And that's, if I really wanted to start going into the whole like life coach bullshit, which I don't think that's for me. I don't think it's for you either, but whatever. That would be the one thing I would say is, and this is kind of one of those, I did it worked for me. I like the idea that I can look back any 5-year period of my life, look back 5 years from there and tell me where I would be 5 years from now. I wouldn't believe you. There's something about that. It's an interesting life and it's helpful. When I was in university training to be a graphic artist, you told me 5 years from then I was going to be in the military. To call you an idiot. You had me first joining the military. You told me 5 years from now you'd be in the Middle East playing around and sleep with like 6'4" flight attendants, having the biggest adventure of your life. I would have said, no way that's happening. 5 years from then, you would have asked me, it's like, oh, dude, you have any idea? You're going to be charged for espionage and prison for like 14 months. I'm like, that's not true. There's no way. And then after that, 5 years from then, it's like, dude, you are going to be a red-pilled speaker. You're going to be pretty popular online. I'm like, that's not true. And you tell that guy, dude, you're going to be an author. You're going to have like books out and they're going to do really well for yourself. And you're like, ah, it's not true. You tell that guy, you're no longer writing red pill stuff. You're writing fiction and it's doing really well and people are really enjoying it. I'll be like, fuck you. Every 5 years I look back and I'm like, who the fuck is this new guy? And I wish more people were like that. And I get the appeal for stability and like have the same thing happen. I just remember like my 20th year high school reunion. I ran into my grade 7 girlfriend and she lost her mind at me because I was just asking, hey, what's new with you? What's new? And she, at one point, just flipped out at me. It's like, I haven't been around the world like you and all this shit. I just stayed home and I moved to this part of town and I have kids now and that's it. And I realized she just done nothing with her life. Like, she had a family, which, you know, kudos to that. I'm not saying that's nothing. Good for her. But she kind of had this regret that she didn't do more with her life. And I'm like, well, why not just do more with your life? Did they compensate you for the charge? I mean, I compensated me for the charge. I won't go too much into detail for that, but I will say there's a lot of like arguments on the right wing about people who are milking veteran disability benefits in their military jobs and not really sick. I don't fault them for that. I have a few friends that have left the military. One got his military medical pension for psoriasis, which is like skin stuff. And it's not because it prevents you from service. It's just because the treatment, you're required to have blood tests every 6 months. And the military has a policy that you need to be deployable to be employable. And deployments, you're required to have a full year of no problem. So the 6-month medical thing, they're like, well, you're not serviceable. So here's your money and here's your out. I'm like, dude, get paid. The military is... all my friends that stayed in, that didn't do this, they're all broken now, man. It's fucking weird. They joined at like 18, 19, 20. Now they're in their 30s, late 30s. And their backs are broken. One's head's broken. Knees are busted. And they're sitting here getting mad at guys for milking a couple bucks out of the medical system. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Get yours. If they don't want you to abuse this system, fuck it. The only way they stop it is if you show them. The only way they fix something is when you break it. So I had my own version of that, which Machiavellian, and the best thing about it, you don't brag. Don't brag. Even if you're not breaking the law, why would you brag about it? It's not going to build you more revenue. It's just going to drive people to, oh, let's pay attention to this. It's like, no. Got into this at the start of the lockdowns. Yeah, exactly. The lockdowns too. If you didn't get buck broke in the lockdowns, Jesus Christ. Ontario had it like worst in the world. I think Australia and Ontario were the two places where it was like the worst. They were tackling kids on the ice and cutting their skates. 16-year-old kids, and they're fucking attacking them on the ice. That was just fucking ridiculous. They were arresting preachers for holding mass. They bought a whole bunch of ventilators. Turns out ventilators were just killing people. They didn't need it, but they bought it because somebody was selling a bunch of them. Spent like $60 billion. I think all in all, like worldwide, ventilators killed 800,000 people. And everybody's like, well, COVID killed 26 million. Worldwide, yeah, aspirin kills 26 million worldwide. Car accidents kill 100 times that. You guys are talking like it's the greatest death in history. It's not. It's not. Military seems like a meat grinder. Is it any more of a meat grinder than any other industry? Not really. It's about the same. It's all just how they do it. But the sense of loyalty they instill. And I think that it's a good thing, and it prevents losing cohesion. But if you don't have an element of selfishness and realizing you are your own career manager, it's a guaranteed way for them to like, well, we'll do what's best for us then, since you're not doing what's best for you. And they tell you that at the start, you're your own career manager. And then every new petty officer, second class, when you're talking to them, they got a story about how they got beat up by the system and fucked over by the system, and they're still there and they can't do any better. And it's like, everybody told you exactly what was going to happen. You just got to plan accordingly. How many hands-free faucets got sold in 2020? Yeah. Oh, Siege, look at this. I got into the space through MGTOW, then heard Rollo had Greyhounds, and then moved to the Red Pill space. Well, look at that. This is truly the Sighthound niche, by the way. I think Chesty had Greyhounds. I got the Iggy's. Rollo's got Greyhounds. You got Greyhounds. There's a few other people that have Whippets, too, which is pretty funny. Yeah, the ideal drones of any institution ended up getting treated the worst. Misfits fare much better. Yep. COVID, neuroticism Olympics. Dude, there's still signs hanging up everywhere saying, put on your mask. I was like, fuck you. I just stopped going to places. I was like, no, I'm not going to comply. That's technically the Canadian way, is that, so like America's got a history of like, what? Fuck you. Can't tell me what to do. And they grab guns and they start shooting. Canada is a different place. Our attitude to when shit becomes oppressive is just passive non-compliance. Like right now, Canada Revenue Agency, our version of the IRS, has like an insane backlog. So many people are just like, yeah, fuck your taxes. You want to inflate the currency 20%? Fine, I'll keep 20% on my own. I don't know how that's going to go for people because tax evasion is playing with fire. I would argue having a strong tax avoidance policy and a good accountant is probably better, which I have and I do. But hey, if you want to go the tax evasion route, no risk, no reward, right? Free Gender, $2 super chat. If the bug was real, housing prices have changed or would have changed. To be fair, our housing market's crazy because we don't build anything and we're importing so many immigrants that like we can't see the demographic change in housing startups, plus the huge amount of taxes attached to it. It's fucking weird. Most of the Commonwealth is doing this too. For the record, Rolo's second favorite breed is a Shiba. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right, Nuke. That's why you'll never be one of the cool kids, because you got your little Shiba. You got your little Shiba Inu. Fuck that. We're built for speed. Better get yourselves a was that Borzoi? What's that one? The one that kills pit bulls? The Russian Borzoi? Yeah. I got into space in 2022 through 33 Secrets and Kevin Samuels. I had totally forgotten about that guy. The Black Stefan Molyneux, fresh and fit till I wised up, found you, Rolo, Rule Zero, Jack Rob, and Nuke. That's good, man. Yeah, that's really good. Free Gender, $2 super chat, would have crashed. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're due for a crash. That's the problem, Gender, is there was a huge amount of quantitative easing into the housing market, at least in Canada. So that's why it didn't crash. The same reason that most things don't crash is they just pour money into it, and it's basically an inflation tax on the people. Hey, what's up, Mish? It's good to see you, sir. Speaking of where have they gone, Mish pulled a Carl. He basically left. He's like, dude, I'm going to make a shit ton of money doing my thing. And like, good for him. He has a good Substack, by the way. I don't know how much, I haven't seen him post to it in a while, but he's got some great stuff when it comes to the HR side of corporate land. So yeah, definitely worth the reads. He's kind of a big deal in the industry too. It's like hearing hockey lessons from Wayne Gretzky. QE does not go into the housing market. It did. It doesn't go directly into it. And I'm oversimplifying here. It's not like they're paying money into the housing market directly. But what it was is money was being given out. Like there was COVID stimmy checks. And those were for people to help pay their rent. And the rent paid goes to the landlords that own places. Housing prices were going up because they were restricting the market. So people were taking out equity loans on the homes in order to buy more homes. Like I got friends that last year took an equity loan on their home to buy 3 more homes thinking, oh, dude, we got Indians renting this place. It'll be fine in perpetuity. So in that sense, yeah, it did. QE did add money into the housing market. It just did it via debt. And the problem with that is it's a temporary fix because now the crash is just going to be bigger and hurt more, which I am so glad I stayed out of that shit. Stayed out of that shit. Live within your means. Worst case scenario, nothing crashes and I'm still living within my means. Best case scenario, all these people that overexpose themselves are now fucked. And then the market will crash and then I'll get a great deal. It's win-win. But hey, that off chance you can get that extra big space, you never know, right? Yeah, the print money, the people sitting close to the money spigot it to buy assets, then borrow against the assets. Yeah, there's actually a, what's this? Is it, I think it's called Gresham's Law. Is it Gresham's Law? I think it is. But it's the idea that inflation doesn't happen immediately. So when government prints money to add to the economy, to hedge against recession, whoever is closest to the printer gets the least amount of inflationary effect to their income. And then every spend that happens after that, that person is more susceptible to inflation. So inflation only affects, and it tends to, big institutions tend to get first crack at the can, or first kick at the can when it comes to money. So they tend to be the ones that get assets without inflation. And then by the time it gets to the average retail consumer, that's when they get all the inflation with none of the assets. So it really is, quantitative easing really is a tax against the bottom quintile for the top quintile. And they can keep doing it because they can't go broke. Like a government can't go broke. They'll just print more money. It's just inflation and employment are the only two things they have to consider. So as long as they keep inflation enough that people aren't dying in the streets, which you'd be surprised how hard it is to die in our modern economies. We have milked every ounce of prosperity from like a century of industrial revolution, and we're finding out just where the limits are. And I don't know where it is. I'm hoping we're close, but we never know. Yeah, spending my free time with the family, riding my bike in the gym. Oh, that's right. Life is good. So yeah, so you see, I actually kind of like how Chad's here at the end, because Misha's given us at the final tale, like, what happened to the Manosphere people? And I've told you stories about Zach crashing out, about George crashing out, about Tate crashing out. He's getting charged with human trafficking and rape and financial fraud and Forex scams and all. Like, dude, he's fucked. I know he's in Dubai right now to evade extradition, but I mean, if that's his thing for the end of his life, he's just stuck in Dubai on exile. I mean, it's a better life than the alternative of getting Epsteined. But is it really a life? I kind of like the idea of the freedom to do what I want and move. Cantillon effect. Thank you very much, sir. That's the word for it, the inflation one. Cantillon effect. But, yeah, and all these crash outs, AGJ and all this stuff, it's kind of nice to see the Carls and the Mishas, where they kind of just, they do their thing. They don't make stupid mistakes. They may make some things that get, online attention. They may do some things that get bombastic. They may do a lot of that stuff, but they don't make stupid mistakes, and they don't waste their money on Lambos and shit. Like, far as I can tell, if Fresh and Fit died tomorrow, Walter would be broke in like 6 months. And from what I hear, Myron will do just fine, because he was kind of smart with his money, which is like, at this point, you have the freedom now to just walk away whenever. Why would you stick around? But I don't know how his thing worked. Maybe he's got a contract to somebody. I don't fucking know. But yeah, for every person who didn't become a lolcow, who had something else in their life going on other than the drama surrounding the Manosphere or the Red Pill, for anybody who had talent and worked on their craft and built something substantive, even MLD John, he's still plugging away. He's doing his thing. Mish plugging away, doing his thing. Carl plugging his way. Me, at this point with us, we're kind of on those outside people too. Time's passed on the Red Pill stuff. We're doing our thing and it's great. And you guys are loving it, dude. So there's a lesson for you. If you ever were sitting there like, dude, I should write the great American novel, or I should leave and be an influencer, or I should take fishing videos online. Like, it's there. Just watch. He's doing the college circuit now. Oh, his Why Women Deserve Less. Like, good for him, but eesh. I found Rolo because an old friend who was very angry sent me the Rational Mail and then called me a beta male because I was zeroed out and trying to figure it out. Hey, you fucking beta male, read this book. Start fucking some 9s and 10s, bro. I don't mean to laugh, but that is fucking funny. We're no longer friends and I'm doing a lot better. Yeah, it's there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. I've always lived way below my means. I think it's not even so much living below your means either, Winso Minhax or whatever you pronounce that as. I think it's more so just prioritizing your means. So I'm like the same way. I've set myself modest expenses. I don't have debt. Car's paid off. The only thing we have is like the last bit of the mortgage, and even then it's only like a couple $100,000 left. I could pay it off tomorrow, but I'm like, it's an inflation hedge as an asset, so just leave it there. Money is depreciating in value, so it's better off. I'm making more money investing that money than I am by leaving it in the housing market. That makes sense. I dream of the day of the pivot. You haven't even gotten to the point yet where you're over this shit. You're way too early to be dreaming about your pivot, Nuke. Yeah, good example of don't red pill your friends. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Makes you laugh. All right, so we have 138. I have a career to get back to. I hope you had fun on this, by the way. You kind of get to learn. And there's more. I could do these episodes for like a month straight. I haven't even gotten to the 2018 convention yet. With all those fucking guys. The, what's that one guy? Phil Foster, the Timu Richard Cooper. I haven't even gotten to, who are some of the other guys? Socrates. Or Steve the Dean Williams. Or, there's so many names. I forgot. I have to go look them up again. And then kind of remember it. Waiting for Ryan's I'm Leaving the Manosphere video. I think those are so cringe, man. They're so cringe. You have to make a big show of it. By the way, everybody, pay attention to me. I am leaving. It's like, fucking go or don't go. Oh, yeah, John Solmnes. I forgot about that guy. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, man. Bulldog alpha mindset. Here's the trick, man. Just be me. It worked for me. Did you do any of this stuff? No. That's right, Tanner Guzzi. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Maybe I'll do another one of these ones. If you guys are like, let me know in the comments if you actually do like this kind of like anthropological, semi-gossip, more like nostalgia type episode. I'll do more of them. Because it is kind of neat to see, like, just take a step back and see what the Sphere has become over the years, right? Very entertaining. So now we got books to sell. One sec. Which one have I not done a thing for yet? I guess I've done them all, really. Charles Bukowski. Jordan Peterson. Neil Strauss. I like these guys. Add some salt to cover up the bitterness of middle-aged soccer moms and put in the oven for 45 minutes. Optionally, you can take from all this stuff what you want and leave the rest. So enjoy Fuck Files. 15 lessons from a decade of women, now on audio. Such a simpler time, huh? The amazing difference between the ads then and now. So Softbone is coming out August 1st. August 1st. Yeah, I've got yours. I've got them all. Like, they're all on the shelf. Like, these are yours, Mish. And the Softbone ones are going to come in too, so I'm sending you all of those. I have been really delayed in getting those out, and that's on me. I just hate dealing with the government that much. And then I've been like an extremely busy workaholic, home and work. So, yeah. Has anyone checked on him lately? I mean, he's doing fine. It's just a divorce. He's had one before. We don't talk about it much, though. But yeah, honestly, Tanner's, I would say, I know he gets a lot of grief. I like his story. I wish there was more guys like that. And I'll just leave it there. Not saying he's the greatest guy on earth. Not saying he's not. But I'm saying he's definitely closer to an MLD John than he is a Jack Murphy. You know what I mean? Did you ever see that BBC documentary on the Rock family trees? Pick a band and follow how it formed and where it went and who it influenced. Red Pill family trees. Yeah, I've seen some of those. Sort of one of those shipping companies to pick it up from your house. Actually, that's not bad either. That's probably a better idea. You know what it is, Mish, too? I've got like 13 different addresses to send to. I just need to buckle down. I'll probably do that tomorrow, actually. Buckle down, get all the addresses done up, and then just send it for a whole day. You know what? Thanks, Mish. You got fire under my ass. Let's get it done. And I tell you what, too, because I've got the author copies of Softbone, if you're fine with the little do not resale band on the front, and I think there's 4 typos I have to fix that's in the books. I've been doing my read through for my last read. If you're fine with those 2 things, I'll put that in with the gift too. Unless you want to wait for like a proper copy. Oh yeah, so Softbone. So it's coming out August 1st. If you haven't, subscribe. Like there's a link, the pinned one in the chat right now. That is to pre-order. If you guys are Kindle fans, the pre-order is there. I would love, I don't know how I did it, but Fuck Files is still the best pre-orders I've ever had on a book. It has like 130 pre-orders, which most books don't even sell that much, which is awesome. The next biggest pre-orders were for Praxeology Volume 3 and Dog Walker. They got about 60 or so. It would be nice to see. And then you get the day 1 release, which would be fun. But if you want the paperback, you just got to wait for August 1st. I would honestly, and I'm supposed to sell you on the pre-sales here, but you're better off with the paperback. The thing is designed for paperback reading. It is designed as a pulp cyberpunk novel. It's got the way the typography is set up, the way the text is set up, the way the formatting is set up. It's really designed for a paperback experience. There's going to be a hardcover and there's going to be a Kindle too, but it is really designed for the paperback experience. And get on the Substack. Look, maybe you love the Red Pill stuff. Maybe you don't love the Red Pill stuff. That's fine. Every Tuesday, I have a release of Red Pilled case studies, field reports, examples for you to take from the books. For the paid subscribers, I'm actually like uploading Dread a couple chapters at a time. And so they'll have the entire copy of Dread on there. And then if that one does well, I'll probably add Frame and Fuck Files and all the other books. So you can have that as your own online repository for the books as well. So that'll be something nice for you too. I was like giving a little back to the community. That's for, loyal subscribers, whatever. But in the meantime, it's excerpts, man. So if you're always like, yeah, dude, I like Cyberpunk. I don't know if I'm going to like Softbone. I don't know if I'm an avid reader anymore. That's fine. Sign up to the Substack. You're going to get them sent in your inbox. Here. And it's like, I send 500 words. Because I figured that takes about 5-10 minutes to read. That's somebody's coffee break. That's somebody's toilet time. So you can sit on the toilet and you get to read an excerpt from Softbone. And if you're like Jake Long and Softbone, Cyberpunk Adventures in the Analog, you're like, this is the kind of thing I can get into. Then yeah, it lets you know. Because I don't want anybody buying it and like, this is not what I was expecting. I want you to know exactly what you're expecting going in. Which would be great. You, Apex Mindset, and MLD are the best for actionable info. That's good. Thank you very much, sir. Can't wait for the Stone discography. I mean, we're kind of there now. We're, what, 7 books in? But it's good. I was kind of... I didn't know this, but C.S. Lewis and Tolkien used to write letters to each other, and Tolkien had told him, it's like, dude, they aren't writing books for men now. Let's write the kind of books we wish were there for us. And that was when they wrote Lord of the Rings and Narnia and all that shit. And I was like, that's awesome. And that's kind of coming back, because there's no books for men out there other than, I mean, there is an underground one. It's not super popular. It's been completely ignored by mainstream publishing and self-publishing for the most part. But there's a bunch of underground niches, a couple authors, the Monster Hunter series, Theft of Fire, there's Delicious Tacos. And then this is my little concept. What kind of books would I want to read? Because the one thing that I hated, and it realized this was why I don't read. It's not because I have ADHD or any shit like that. It's not because books are written for feminists and gays. Or it's none of that either. It's just there's too much filler. It was like a rule. I don't remember who gave it to me. It was a great rule, though. If you're reading somebody's book and you can skip a paragraph or a page, I think I've already said at the beginning of the show, if you can skip a paragraph or a page and not lose your place in the book, then that's filler, and they should have just gotten rid of it. I think it was like a Hemingway thing. So I'm like, yeah. So that's all I did. I'm like, I'm going to write a book where there's no filler, where if you skip a paragraph, you skip a fundamental part of the story. 2 things happen from that, too. Turns out there's a new trend. They call them slims, which for me, I always thought those were novels. A novel is supposed to be 60,000 words. Once you get to 100,000, it gets a little too big for a novel. Anything under 50,000 is a novella. But they're like, yeah, slims, 55 to 65 to 75, like 70,000 at most. I'm like, perfect. That's the books I've been writing anyway, because I find that's a good size, and you can keep the book as a concept inside of your head, so you're not reading and forgetting what happened earlier on. It's kind of like when you're watching a movie, you can kind of remember all the parts of the movie as you're watching it, all the way to the end. So yeah. And in the next couple weeks, so I'm going to be definitely online less. I'm going to be doing the audiobooks. So I've got Softbone, Dog Walker, and Praxeology Volume 4. I'm recording the audiobooks for all those, and I'm doing up the paperback Kindle and that for Praxeology Volume 4. I'll probably have that one coming out like later in the fall. And that's going to be a continuation of Field Reports. I don't know what the title for that one now is going to be Case Studies, I think. Or I might start calling it like the Praxeology Reader's Digest 2025. I don't know yet. I'm working on that. But that'll be for guys who really, really still want more Red Pill stuff. And that'll be, collections of guys running their maps, how they end up implementing them, how it ties into Frame, how it ties into Dread, and all the other Red Pill concepts. So I think you guys will really enjoy that one as well. So yeah. But yeah, if you haven't, dude, sign up to the Substack. Dude. Sign up to the Substack. I'm telling you right now. At the very least, even if you don't like reading and you don't like getting these things in your email, that's fine too. If I end up getting canceled off the internet because some feminist told somebody and got me off of there, that's my last place to reach you. There is an email list that comes on that. So no matter what happens, you'll at least like, oh, whatever happened to Ryan? That's the way you'll know. If again, the store, ryanstone.com. Store.ryanstone.com. Yeah. Like the merch, sales, that kind of thing. That's all there. Anything that's like really important to me, anything that's like real stuff, it'll all go through there. So at the very least, it's better. You're not going to get all this kind of like random shit. You're not going to see me shit posting on Twitter. That's that. So yeah, if you haven't, I don't know how else to tell you. Like I said, I know you're not supposed to tell people what to do, and I normally don't, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it, and if it's the kind of thing you're into, if you like the idea of books that you'd actually like to read, if you like the idea of finding all this smaller stuff, if you like the idea of being like a voracious appetite of field reports and case studies and concepts and actionable advice when it comes to Dread or Frame and stuff, it's like, why wouldn't you? It's a free service, and it's definitely like I guarantee you, if you signed up today, you would not be able to get through the backlog in a year. There's already like 150 different ones in there. It's a lot. If anything, I should have probably done less because it becomes overwhelming to look at, but just kind of join in, do it at your levels. Hassan's here. How can a man handle a situation where his wife gets a crush on another male who's in her regular proximity without getting jealous and weak? What does even getting weak mean? Like, I mean, there's like a whole thing to it, but there's There's really only one answer to that, Hassan. Can't do anything. If she wants to fuck another guy, she'll fuck another guy. You can't stop her. There's no consequences for her doing it. And if she decides to leave you, there's all that, divorce talk and all that shit there. But still doesn't change what you can do. Don't do anything. Because there's nothing you can do that'll stop her. And that's the thing. The only thing you can do is make it more likely to happen. If you start having a hold her accountable moment, if you start accusing her of shit like that, all it's going to do is psychologically put a little idea in her head that this guy is a threat to my husband. Well, maybe I should fuck him. That's all you can do. And then just play dumb. Play dumb. Because if she wants to cheat, she'll cheat. And she might get away with it once. And she might get away with it twice. She might get away with it for a month. She might be fucking him every day. And you're like, oh, she just works late this day. But don't do it forever. Because the thing is, when people get away with something, they're really stealthy. Then they get less stealthy. And then they get more confident. And this is how cops catch criminals. Eventually, they're like, oh, I'm just going to go here. And then they're like sleeping with the guy in the bedroom and you catch them. And you're going to catch them eventually. That's the thing. Once you catch them, that's when you decide, what are you going to do about this? You can live in that cuck situation if you want to. You can kick her to the curb. That's fine. Generally, your job is to be prepared. Like, if this were to happen with me, what would I do about it? Would I divorce? Probably. After I divorce, do I have any chance of getting any women? No. Well, maybe get prepared to that. Maybe prep. Would I have enough money to be able to afford my own place after she kicks me out of the house and sleeps with her new man? It's like, no. Well, maybe you need to get some money. Well, maybe the lawyers are going to take... Well, maybe you need to get some legal advice. You see what I mean? Yeah, and see, Jason's here is asking, how do you avoid getting cheated on? There are things that are under your control, and there are things that are not under your control. That is not under your control. You cannot avoid getting cheated on, short of just never getting with anybody. You can't. It's impossible. The odds may be low. Being attractive, not being unattractive, being high status, having all those attractive traits will make it less likely. But there's no guarantees. Deterrent and ever. And that's when you realize, like, so what's the real issue here? And this is what I always ask you guys. Wave a magic wand. What would you do? If you can't change anybody's behavior, wave a magic wand. What would happen? And that's just it. I cannot stop my wife from cheating on me, but wave a magic wand. I want to get into a place where if she does, I don't have to sit here and swallow my pride and be a cuck and have no options but to put up with it. That's all you can do. So yeah, what would you do if you didn't want to have to put up with having a cheating whore wife in your house? Do those things. Be prepared for a divorce. Have assets. Have property. Have legal advice on what things I can do to minimize the financial ramifications of her cheating on me and me leaving. Do those things. And then if and when it... And here's the funny thing. So like if and when it happens, you know your consequences. You've already looked into it. You know exactly what's going to issue. You know how much it's going to cost. You know it's going to suck. You know you're going to cry, and that's fine. But now that you know the consequences, it actually makes you more comfortable because you're like, I know all the consequences. I've mitigated them the best I can. And the only thing that's left is like, I'm going to get this level of pain, then I'm of this level of opportunity, and I'm going to have this kind of timeline to accomplish it. And then once you've accepted that, you're like, oh, it doesn't bother you anymore. So when your wife's cheating or like flirting with some dude, you're not jealous because you're like, dude, just give me a reason. It's like, you're ready. And the funny thing about that is the more prepared you are and the less likely that it'll happen. Again, no guarantees, but it's just one of those things. The guys who are neurotic about their wives leaving them and pull all kinds of weird mate retention behavior, those are the ones that end up getting cheated on. The guy who's like, dude, give me a reason. I would swap you out with a 25-year-old tomorrow. Those guys do far better. It's an incentive thing. Nobody wants to get off a moving train. So, and then the whole point of writing Dread was to articulate that. So enjoy your free answer for a very complex question as best I could. That all sounds good, but yeah, if you're just going to make excuses, then whatever. But when you blah, 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 shut up. I'm telling you right now, that's the answer. You may not like it. You may have a bunch of excuses. You may have a bunch of what ifs. You may be neurotic about following the path. That's on you, man. That's on you. It's one thing I've learned. As soon as you start getting like, well, what if? It's like, my job is not to live your life for you. You don't want me to live your life for you. Because if I'm living your life for you, what you need to do is subscribe to my Substack every month, buy all my books every month. I think that's the best thing for you. That's the only advice I'm going to give you because I am biased into what's best for me. Yeah, don't bother. Anyway, So that's it. Rule Zero's coming up. I can't remember. I think it's Clary hosting it. Let me take a look. It must be because I don't have his thing on my thing again. God damn it, Clary. All right, I don't have a link for it. You guys will have to find your own way there. That's on him. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy yourselves. I guess I got nothing else to say. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you want me to do more of these. There's a whole lot more content creators and there's a whole bunch more tea to spill, but it's not gossip. It's just kind of like nostalgia. Some guys did well. Some guys did bad. You guys will be fine. See you next time.
79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take 1.
"40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone." Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.